Hi, my name is Mike Lenz. I'm a solutions architect at pureIntegration. Today I wanted to talk about some of the challenges that enterprises face with driving down mean time to resolution for incidents within the enterprise, and how the addition of HPE OpsBridge with centralized event management and topology data, along with ChatOps technology, can help to drive down that mean time to resolution within the enterprise. The first couple of things that I wanted to go through just to kind of set the stage is what some of those challenges are today and how we can provide a solution to those challenges. And I want to keep the slides to a minimum here because I really want to get into a demonstration of how these technologies work and how they can be used within your organization. So what are some of the problems that enterprises are facing today that is leading to lengthy mean time to resolution for incidents? One of them is that there's no shortage of monitoring tools that are available to different teams. The problem is that a lot of the times the events being produced from those monitoring tools are siloed. So they're focused on one layer of the infrastructure, which is probably appropriate, using the best tool for the job of monitoring that piece of infrastructure. But the only people receiving notification that there's problems are those underlying teams who are responsible for that tool or that infrastructure layer. So there's not visibility across teams on what the underlying root cause of problems are. A second thing that we see quite commonly is that while an organization may have a CMDB in place that has information about all of the configuration items that make up an application, the underlying network, storage, servers, virtualization layers, software, and so on, and they even may be leveraging automated discovery. That application topology data is not really being leveraged to help drive incident resolution. So it's kind of living siloed in the CMDB, and it's not really being tied to the events that are occurring. So what can you do about that type of situation? And the solution that we would like to be able to showcase today is HPE OpsBridge and its ability to centralize events within the organization coming from all of these disparate monitoring tools, as well as tie those events to the application topology that's being produced from the CMDB, to really give you kind of a single pane of glass view, if you will, of the events that matter for a particular application, and as events occur, graphically highlighting in that application topology what elements of the application are affected, and is the actual application down or not? Is it causing a downtime, or is it just causing an issue with one layer of the application that has redundancy built into it? In addition to that centralization of events, and allowing cross-team visibility of what's going on and underlying root cause, we also want to show how chat functionality, and in our example we're going to use Slack to highlight that, how chat functionality and bots being tied into chat rooms that your engineers are already using can be used not only for notification of events as they occur within an application, but also to help aid in troubleshooting of those events and even in resolution of the event and the underlying root cause. So with that said, what are what is this underlying problem that we're trying to resolve? If we just dive into that a little bit more, and this example came from one of our customers who had said, we've done some looking at the average mean time to resolution for event, and we've broken that down both by the raw amount of time that it takes from beginning to end, from when the event is first reported till the time that it's that the system is back available in normal operations to the end users, as well as what's the actual time once engineers are engaged. So in their particular example, there's 170 minutes being spent even after they got all of the right engineering teams engaged on resolving that issue, and that wasn't acceptable to them, and that's a very long length of time on average to resolve critical issues that are affecting application availability. On top of that, though, the raw mean time to resolution from first problem report or maybe the first incident that's come in about an issue till the time that the issue is resolved was 245 minutes. So there's the difference between the 170 minutes to resolve the issue and the 245 minutes total, and that highlights the amount of time that was being spent just getting the right teams engaged after the first report of the incident. So that's a lot of time being spent there that's essentially wasted even just engaging all of the right teams and bringing together all of that siloed information from all of the different monitoring tools that those teams are using. So with that said, we've talked a little bit about what's the actual problem that we're looking to try to resolve. Here's some metrics from one of our customers on what they were actually seeing in their environment, and how can we use HPE OpsBridge to centralize that event and monitoring data as well as the application topology data and tie it into ChatOps tools that teams are using today to drive down this mean time to resolution. So with that said, I'm going to actually flip over to a demonstration of this that we have set up in our environment to really drive the point home. So the first thing that I want to show you here is HPE UCMDB, which is HPE's configuration management database that has the ability to not only do automated discovery of the infrastructure and applications running within your environment, but it also has the ability to build application topologies, essentially application maps of those applications. And I'm going to select one of the applications here that we have a map built for, our model application that we're going to break in this example, which is HPE Asset Manager. And selected this application because it runs across a number of different servers. It has a Microsoft SQL Server database. It has a number of servers that run Tomcat processes, some that just rely on Windows services to be running. And you can see that all modeled out here, as well as the connection points that provide for this business application up at the top, HPE Asset Manager. Here's the software tier in the middle, databases, Tomcat, particular Windows processes. And at the bottom, you actually have the servers that are providing the infrastructure to run that software. So that's all within the CMDB itself, and a lot of organizations have something similar to this. Maybe they don't have the ability to model the application, but they at least have the CI data here. When that's fed into HPE OpsBridge that I've just flipped over to here, we have that topology data in a little bit different type of view, but you can see that we have it right here in this view that I've created for the Asset Manager application. So on the right-hand side of the screen, you can see in this layered view the actual Windows servers itself that make up this application, the software that's critical to be running on those servers to provide uptime for the application, and at the top you see the business application itself. So we've got some Windows servers, we've got our processes and our databases here in the middle, and then we can see the availability of the application up here at the top and what some of those connection points are. On the bottom of the screen, you can see all of the current events that have come in from our point monitoring solutions for this event or for this application. This could be monitoring tools like App Dynamics, that's showing me the amount of time that certain application functions and calls are taken. It can be data from something like HPE SiteScope, which is what we're going to show here, that's monitoring particular tiers of the application, or a combination of many different monitoring tools, all being conglomerated and centrally managed in one place. And so before I actually go into the actual monitoring that's happening for this application, I actually want to bring up my chat application, because what we're going to actually show here is some of the ChatBot technology, and we're going to actually cause an issue in Asset Manager so that we can see what's happening in real time. And as opposed to actually having to manually log on to one of the servers to basically break something and cause an issue, I've actually built a tool right into the ChatBot to cause that issue so that we can all do it from one place. So I'm in a channel here, COMI. I'm receiving notifications about my application, and I'm going to type to a bot that's listening in this channel that we've just called OMI, and I'm going to give it a command, OMI run. It's telling it to run a tool on the server that I want it to run on, and in this case I'm going to just cause a problem on the Asset Manager web server. And a tool that I've built specifically to drive this example that's going to stop the Tomcat process on that server. So as I type that command in, my bot's going to receive the command, and it's actually going to execute the tool. And you can see that the bot's responded back now saying that it is executing the tool on that server. While that's running in the background, and it will take a couple of minutes for that tool to run, I'm going to flip to my monitoring screen for this application, and here I'm just going to highlight HPE SiteScope that's doing the primary monitoring for Asset Manager. You can see I have a category built for Asset Manager, and you can see the various servers that provide services, that make up this application itself. If I select those, you can see some of the monitoring that's going on. Basic Windows service monitoring, CPU, memory, and disk, things like that. And if I flip to the server that we're actually causing the problem on, you can see that I'm monitoring things like web pageability, because this is an actual web server for Asset Manager Web. You can see some of the underlying CPU, memory, disk on the server itself. You can see some monitoring for Tomcat processes and memory utilization of those, Java Tomcat processes as well. We've actually seen something pop up in the background here showing that there's some events coming into Slack. Let's flip back to our chat window. And we can already see that we're starting to, here's the output of my Tomcat command that's actually scrolling by now. So we can see that it's stopped, and I'm starting to see events come in about my application. And one of those events, we can see new critical event on SCAM Web 1, which is my server name. Apache Tomcat service status changed from good to error. If I flip back to my Operations Manager page, or my Operations Bridge screen that's showing the health of Asset Manager, we can see right in the application topology that several of the application tiers are turning red now. We can see the business application itself is showing that it's in a critical state, and we can also see that the Tomcat web server on this particular Windows machine is showing that it's having a problem. You can also see down here at the bottom that we're not showing that there's a problem with any of the actual Windows health monitor that's going on, just with this running software on the server. So it's really helping to identify exactly where the root cause is. It doesn't appear that there's a Windows problem or a problem with things like CPU, memory, disk, and whatever else I'm monitoring at that level. But we can see that the software on that server is having a problem. You can also see the events that are coming in that are driving this application topology changing color here, down here on the bottom, just as I could see through Slack. So at this point we know that there's a problem, and let's say that I was an engineer that was wanting to get some more information about what this problem might be. I've seen these events come in and I want to troubleshoot. I can start to do some of that right from Slack. So again, I'm going to type a command to my bot, add oh my run. I'm going to give it the server name because I know that there's a problem with this server, and I'm going to look at the status of my Tomcat process because it sure looks like there's a problem with Tomcat on this server. So as that executes in the background, we can see that the bot's picked it up now, and it's actually running the tool through Operations Bridge. And here's the results of that tool run, and we can see that the state of the Tomcat process is stopped. So, as an engineer, hey, I've seen the application is down. I can see that on my Operations Bridge screen. I can see the Tomcat stopped. I'm not sure what the problem is yet, but I know a little bit about what's going on. And let's say that I actually want to escalate this event now. I want to create an incident ticket because the service is down. Now, of course, Operations Bridge could have been set up so that if it saw this event come in or this series of events come in, it would take an automated action on its own and try to restart Tomcat. It could have also automatically logged an incident ticket, but we wanted to highlight how the chat functionality could also be tied into this process so that for unknown issues, a lot of that functionality and a lot of that action can be driven out of the chat application. So at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to escalate that incident that came in, and I'm going to create an incident management ticket in my service management system, which in this case is HPE Service Manager. So I'm going to again type a command to my bot, my escalate event. I'd previously copied the shortcode for that event from one of my incidents that came in, from one of my events that came in, 966A, so I'm going to supply that here. And at this point, that OMI bot is now going to take another action. It's going to log an incident management ticket in Service Manager. So you can see that it's in the process of communicating with Service Manager. And now that's even given me what is the incident management ticket number here, this IM10325. So now right from my chat window, I've created a service management ticket without having to open up another web page, log into my service management tool, and go through the whole process of creating that incident. I have another Slack channel here that's hooked up into that service management system, and I have another bot here that I can type to get some details about that incident. So I'll type to that bot, and we'll tell it to get the incident details for this particular incident management ticket number that OMI told us was created, just to make sure that it's actually in the system. So we can see the service manager just responded back to my command, again through this bot, and it pulled back the details of this particular ticket that was created. So at this point, we've seen through OpsBridge, we've seen through the application topology integration that you can really get a good pictorial view of what the problem might be. You can see all of the events that are coming in from my various monitoring tools. You can also see that through Slack, through a chat application, we were able to get a little bit of details about the incident that's going on, and we've even created an incident ticket and gotten the details of that incident ticket right in the chat window. Now again, let's say that I was on an engineering team that was helping to resolve this issue, and I got a little bit of information about what the incident is, and I want to add some of that information about the troubleshooting that's going on to my incident ticket. Again, I don't need to log into my service management tool. I can do it right from Slack. So I'm going to type to my service management bot again, and since I don't remember the exact syntax for how to add detail to an incident, I'm going to just start typing the beginning of the command and let it tell me some of the usage or some of the options that are available. And I can see here that there's an option to add activity to an incident, so I'm going to use that. Type to my bot again, SM, add activity, incident, give it my incident ID, 10325, and I'm going to just say, Mike is working to resolve this issue, asset manager should be back available shortly. Of course, you'd probably want a little bit more detail in whatever format you require in there, but just showing that activity can be added to an incident straight from the Slack window, and it really gives the engineers a good quick way to add incident resolution detail as the incident is going on without having to leave the tools that they're currently using. So in this case, since we have a good idea of what the actual problem is, I'm going to use Slack and the OMI bot one more time to actually resolve the incident. So I'll type to that OpsBridge bot. I'm going to say OMI run, and on my Asset Manager web server, I have another tool built that can restart Tomcat on a server. So I'm going to tell OMI to run that tool, right from my Slack window, and I must have fat-fingered the name of the server, which I did. The bots responded back saying I'm not able to find that server. Let's try it one more time. So now, assuming that I've spelled my server name correctly, we'll run the tool on that server. So we'll wait for the bot to respond back. We can see that the bot's actually found the server. It knows it's a managed server, and it can use that tool on it. And it's actually run the command that I wanted to, which is restarting Tomcat. It's also given me the results of that run, so you can see that the Tomcat process has started and then started successfully. We can actually start to see some of the resolution events already coming in, but let me flip back to my monitoring window. I'm going to kick my monitoring just to make sure that it happens quickly for this demo. We can see that all of the different monitored areas that were red before are now back to green. The service is back up and running. The URL is available. Tomcat's no longer having a problem. If I look at my OpsBridge page one more time, we can also see in this application topology, in this pictorial view, that we no longer see any application tiers that are red. And in addition, we can see all of the events that have come in have changed from red back to green, showing that the application is again available. The other thing that's happened here in the background is, if we look at the status of this ticket, and I'm going to use Slack again to get the status of the ticket, so we'll say smbot smgetIncident. We can see that the issue is now in a closed status, and we can see that it was automatically closed by OMI right here. So we've also closed out our incident management ticket now that we've resolved the issue. I've got some other issues actually coming in about other applications that are monitored here, but you can see all of the resolution events also going out to my team here right in the Slack window. So here's my Apache Tomcat service status back to a good status from error. So I hope this demo has been useful in showing you how having that centralized view of events coming in from multiple monitoring tools tied to an application topology can really give engineers a very quick way of seeing, okay, here's exactly where the root cause of the issue might be. Let me start there in my troubleshooting. And then how we can use Slack to actually drive not only the notification that there's an issue, but also some of the troubleshooting information that can be run straight through the tools available through my ChatOps technology. We've also shown how you can tie incident management into this workflow so that you save engineers the time of logging into another tool to create an incident or even adding updates to that incident. So all of those together should really help to drive out some of those problems that we highlighted earlier, that it takes so long to get teams engaged because they're already talking to each other in these tools, and not being able to see what's happening in other architecture layers, because we have these single pane of glass views that show all of the events coming in from all of the tools that are tied to this application topology. So I hope this was a useful webinar to show how OpsBridge and ChatOps can really help with driving down that mean time to resolution. And if you have any other questions about anything that we've talked about today, please feel free to reach out. Again, my name is Mike Lenz. I'm with pureIntegration. You can look me up on LinkedIn, and I would be happy to talk to you further. So thanks a lot, and have a great day. Bye.